It's always so impressive to me when someone manages to create multiple stories that distinctly differ in tone and presentation, and they all manage to be something unique and amazing. I think in the manga and anime industry you often see people writing or directing stories similar to their previous ones. For example, someone that wrote a battle shonen continues to write another battle shonen, and oftentimes that results in an even better story because the author then is able to use all the previous experience they got in that genre on a new and similar work. I think that's great and has led to some of my favorite manga and anime, but I always appreciate it when an author tries to write a story that is largely different from their previous work. I don't think that Fujimoto's one-shot manga Look Back and Goodbye Eri are completely different from his previous series Chainsaw Man, but when you go from Chainsaw Man Part 1, which of course has a lot of focus on fights, gore and character relationships that develop over 11 volumes, directly to Look Back, you'll find a story without any of the action aspects that focuses on two people and their passion for manga, and is complete in only a rather short volume. You'll get two very different experiences. You'll definitely see that all three stories are very much by the same person and share a lot of similar themes, humor, and of course Fujimoto's love for movies and cinema. But I think it's impressive that he managed to write these stories that differ so much in their genre and execution, and they all turned out to be amazing. I unfortunately can't compare them to Fujimoto's first big manga Fire Punch because I haven't read it yet, but after seeing what he did with all of his stories that I've read so far, I have to change that as soon as possible. I won't really go into spoilers with Look Back and Goodbye Eri because I think everyone just needs to experience them for themselves, and they are both less than 200 pages, so it doesn't even take much time to read them. But I just have to say that I absolutely love these two manga. I really like Chainsaw Man, but I hope Fujimoto also continues to write these short one-shots. Now that Chainsaw Man is continuing with part 2, because as much as I think it's a really great story, stories like Look Back or Goodbye Eri show what a talented writer Fujimoto really is, and I hope he continues to write these unique stories in different genres. There's so much he can do with short one-shots that wouldn't really work in a long-running series, like how he framed every page in Goodbye Eri like a picture taken by a camera, or how many panels in Look Back are exactly the same perspective and show the flow of time. These things could technically work in a long-running manga, but I feel would become old or confusing pretty fast. One volume where every panel is framed the way it is in Goodbye Eri is new and awesome, but when you had the same thing for 10 volumes, it would just feel unnecessary, I would say, and it wouldn't really add much to the story at that point, compared to Goodbye Eri, where it's basically a part of the story. These one-shots just allow for more freedom, and I feel like that's especially true with the pacing. No spoilers now for the Chainsaw Man story, but every arc, aside from one that has a few chapters less, in part 1 starting from the Katana Man arc up to the final arc is about the same length, and I don't know if that's what Fujimoto wanted, I assume so, but I think the final arc could have been a few chapters longer and felt kinda rushed after all that build-up in the previous arcs. Not that much, but a few chapters more could have helped the story to not feel like it's moving a little bit too fast at the end. At least that's how I see it, and with these one-shot manga, Fujimoto is able to make them exactly as long as he feels like they should be. Look Back is about 140 pages, and the story does neither feel too slow nor too fast. It fits perfectly. The same goes for Goodbye Eri. What I also really love about these two is that they focus a lot more on the emotional and human side and the relationship between two people. Not that Chainsaw Man didn't do that, but these are just a lot more focused on that side without all the crazy fighting that Chainsaw Man has to offer. They were also a lot sadder to me, aside from maybe one or two Chainsaw Man deaths. Especially Look Back, even without all the stuff surrounding the story and its creation, which I think is really worth looking into after finishing the manga. I love both one-shots, and even though they share a lot of similar themes with loss and regret, they still feel so different, and I honestly couldn't decide which one I like more. Look Back is a more straightforward story that I feel impacted me more emotionally, and Goodbye Eri is, I would say, more up to the reader how they see the story and what they take from it. But both are absolutely incredibly written, and not only written. What I also really love is that they both have a lot of moments where there's nothing said, and the story is just fully told through what you see in the panels, and that also works perfectly well with Goodbye Eri's way of showing everything through pictures. Both stories are so memorable, and if you haven't read them, please do. It's definitely worth it. I hope Goodbye Eri gets a good anime movie adaptation, and even a live action movie, because it would work so well with how the story is structured. It's basically made to be a movie, and will hopefully have a lot of explosions. I hope Fujimoto finds the time besides working on Chainsaw Man Part 2 to write more of these short stories, because he really created something special with them. If you're somehow still watching, I really appreciate it, and have a great rest of the day.